We all know that the dwarves and elves don't really like each other all that much. Some could say it's natural and it has always been like that. But as everything in Tolkien's stories, this also has its explanation. Let's start in the late years of trees, a time in Tolkien's universe when the sun and moon haven't been created yet. It was then that Thingol, king of Doriath, contracted the dwarves of Belegost. He needed help in creating the fortress of Menegroth, called the Thousand Caves. The dwarves agreed and built it in the fashion of their own abodes. But it was not without the help of the elves. Together, using the talents of both races, the workers brought to life the vision of the Blessed Kingdoms. In gratitude for their help, elves instructed the dwarves in their craft by passing some of the secrets of Valinor to them. Over the next few hundred years, these two races cooperated against the evils of Morgoth. However, the friendship ended in 503 of the First Age. Thingol invited the dwarves of Nogroth to settle Silmaril, a beautiful jewel of unimaginable power, created centuries ago by the elven smith Feanor in a dwarven necklace called Nauglamir. How Thingol got those things in the first place, you may ask? Well, to keep it short, the jewel Silmaril was stolen from Morgoth's crown by a human named Beren, who wanted to prove his worth to the king in exchange for the hand of his beloved daughter Lúthien. The necklace, on the other hand, was brought to Thingol by Húrin, who had found it in the ruins of Nargothrond. The idea was to combine the most beautiful works of elven and dwarven crafts into one. Indeed, Nauglamir became the most beautiful object in all of Arda. However, craftsmen blinded by greed and power of the elven jewel demanded a necklace along with the Silmaril as a payment for the services performed. Thingol obviously refused and paid for it with his own life. After committing the murder, the dwarves intended to steal Nauglamir, but the king's guards reacted immediately. Two craftsmen barely escaped and went to their king in Nogroth to present the situation. They might have said some things not as they actually were, and thus they put Thingol in a bad light. Dwarves mourned their brothers and quickly devised a plan of revenge. Later that year, a battle between those two races began. In history, it is regarded as the Siege of Doriath. The attack was much easier now after Thingol's death, as his wife Meliana left Doriath, and thus her barrier that protected the forest from evildoers disappeared. The guards were brutally killed. A bloody battle broke out in the caves with a great deal of losses on both sides. The dwarves managed to win and pick up the necklace together with the Silmaril. Moreover, the dwarves looted all the treasures from the elven land. Doriath has been ruined. Roles turned on the way back. The news of Thingol's death reached as far as Beren and Lúthien. The man immediately jumped to the rescue and set off towards the dwarven column, moving back to the mountains. Beren was accompanied by green elves from Osiriand. The fight took place in the area of the Sarn Atart. Surprised dwarves suffered heavy losses. Many of them fled the battlefield as they couldn't even see their enemies. Elves caught up with them in the woods of Eret Lindon. None of the dwarven participants of this expedition survived. Beren killed the dwarf ruler himself and took the necklace from him. Before his death, the dwarves cursed the treasures of Doriath so that all the spoils of war were sunk in the Askar River, later called Ratloriel, or Golden Bed in common speech. The dwarven greed and lies began the interracial disagreement that dragged on throughout subsequent eras. Although only one clan was greedy, stereotypes were also applied to other clans, even those that were far away from Beleriand. The dwarves didn't think about the elves positively either. The story perfectly illustrates how unreasonable greed can entail a number of unpleasant and unpredictable events.